Hello everyone. How are you all feeling out there? We have a Scorpio Moon happening right now, and it is Virgo season. It is technically the 29th of August. It's still a Jupiter night and a Mercury hour at the moment. And yeah, right now we're in eclipse season. We just finished the new moon in Virgo last week. So this is where the South Node is, and that's what starts our eclipse season. And the South Node is where we release, diminish, get rid of those like overworked shadow sides of Virgo. And yeah, in Virgo it could be like overwork, over analysis, over criticism, whether it's self-criticism or criticism of others. And we're moving toward the North Node in Pisces, which wants us to trust our intuition, trust the unknown, like connect with spirituality, connect inward, because that is where we will find the answers, not some external source, external authority. The authority is inward. So there's a lot of purging and releasing all these distractions that are keeping us from connecting with our soul. So we have to get rid of those, diminish those, so that we can come into our own inner authority and shine as bright as possible. So yeah, there's a couple things I wanted to mention about the next week or so that's happening right now, with the moon currently in Scorpio at 15 degrees at the moment, and Black Moon Lilith also in Scorpio at 17 degrees. It's making this grand water trine with Jupiter in Cancer and the North Node in Pisces. And so the water signs are the signs that ask us to connect with our emotions and our intuition. And with Black Moon Lilith in the mix, there are some grievances that are starting to surface, or they've already been present, but now with a square to Mercury and Leo, it wants to be vocalized, and you want to get it off your chest. So this is actually a great time, especially through the weekend while the moon is in Scorpio, to get an astrology reading, get some insights, some cosmic view insight. Talk to a therapist or a confidant, journal, write it out, paint, do something artistic with this emotional energy. So this is a good weekend to use this, to harness this energy, to let your emotions out in some way. And yeah, it could, depending on what house Scorpio falls, it could be grievances with your work situation, your home situation, partners, your finances. It could be anything. But yeah, this is like the best time to go inward and like self-reflect and investigate, like just get rid of the distractions, and like get the emotions out in the open. With the new paradigms that are starting to kind of like reshuffle, we're starting to realize that old ways of doing things aren't working, and it's more of a trial and error phase, and it's better to like try things than to not try things, and rather than overthink about it, really trusting your gut, your intuition, and if it brings you joy, especially with Venus and Mercury currently in Leo, trusting that instinct. And with these two, the fire signs, about to create a grand trine with Saturn and Neptune, and the moon will be moving into Sagittarius on Saturday, and will trine Venus in Leo and Mercury in Leo. So that's going to be a good circuit of energy to take advantage of, and yeah, get that creativity out. And Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius energy is going to want to go on adventures and like seek the truth. So whether that's through astrology or some sort of higher source, not necessarily. Everybody has their own method, so connect with your method and experiment with other methods. Be curious about other modalities. That's really the Sagittarius energy too, is like exploring methods outside of your norm or outside of your close community, and having that curiosity and adventure and being open to taking in other truths. So that's part of the energy. And then also this weekend all of this energy that's surfacing with the emotions and, you know, all the grievances that can be coming up. This is also timed with the first quarter moon, where the sun is in Virgo and the moon is in Sag. So these are both mutable energies, and energies that have everything to do with, you know, big picture. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so it's like that big picture, you know, soul's purpose kind of energy. And with Mercury ruling Virgo, these are the steps to take to achieve that big picture goal. So now that Mercury is out of its shadow, there can be a lot of options that we can be kind of like combing with a fine tooth. And the struggle would be, you know, like reining in the big picture while also setting these steps in play, like writing an outline, you know, like creating an outline or a spreadsheet of the things that need to be done in order to achieve this big goal. Like I was just, you know, going through all my things, my drawers, and the big plan to relocate to my Venus line is going to require some like rubber hits the road kind of tasks and details. So not knowing exactly where to start, I can start by cleaning out these drawers where I know I don't need a lot of these extra utensils, and, you know, like little things like that in their interim while these bigger picture things are starting to take shape. So yeah, starting somewhere, you know, like starting with the small steps, the small details, and then, you know, trusting that you'll be guided to take care of what is needed next. And then we will also be seeing Saturn re-enter Pisces on the 1st of September. So this is going to be the last time Saturn is in Pisces for a long time. Saturn moves through every sign for, like, takes about 2.5 years to move through a sign. So Saturn just finished its term in Pisces. What was it now? August. So I think it was in March that Saturn moved into Aries, and Saturn will re-enter Aries February 15th, 2026, and will stay in Aries for 2.5 years. And so times 12, you know, like Saturn won't be in Pisces again for another however long that is. But this last sweep of Saturn going through Pisces is like really mastering the mystery and trusting the unknown, and really making sure that we have those spiritual practices in our back pocket, like something that we're doing daily, so that we are not being pulled further away from our soul and staying connected to our inner world. So we have to, I mean, if we haven't already, like, take even more prudence with what we are consuming, like visually, audibly, food-wise, even, yeah, like, did I say visually? And even the people that you're surrounded by. If you're surrounded by people who are complaining all the time, and just really, like, the first thing they say when you ask them how they're doing is some sort of grievance, or, you know, like not appreciation or not gratitude, then that would be a signal, a sign, a message to maybe put some distance between you and that energy, because it's only doing you a disservice. Because right now we are in potent energies that our thoughts and our energy field has a lot of impact on what we manifest. Like, I saw this meme or some sort of reel that was kind of like a so one of those, like, Confucius says kind of thing, and talking about how someone bumped into this guy that was holding a cup of coffee, and the question was, what spilled? You know, like, why was it coffee that spilled out of his cup, or something like that? And the answer was that it was coffee. If it was orange juice, then it would have been orange juice that spilled out of his cup. And so we can kind of connect that with how we navigate the world, you know, depending on what's in your cup. If someone bumps into you, then that's what's going to spill out. So if you are walking around with a cup of negativity and complaints and just, you know, a bad attitude, then that's what's going to spill out if someone bumps into you. But you want to have like a cup full of gratitude and positive energy and laughter and joy in your cup, so that can spill out in case you do get bumped into. So I thought that was I think it's like a proverb, and a good just kind of rule of thumb, you know, just keeping the internal space, being aware of what you're carrying with you. And I think that's what awareness, like mindfulness, is really speaking to. So it takes some practice. Like, I mean, I catch myself having these conversations after a certain, like, maybe less than pleasant experience, like some sort of run-in with whoever it might be. But it's up to me. Like, I'm the one in control of my reaction. And so, and the thoughts that are running through my head. So just being aware and mindful of the thoughts, and if there is a negative thought, to balance it out with a positive thought. And that's something that, you know, a practice that I am consciously practicing. Like, it's a practice, something that, you know, you have to work on. So writing out, you know, maybe journaling about your day, and if there's anything that was less than pleasant, then balancing it out with something on the other end of the spectrum, you know, something that is totally positive, and filling that positive side of the paper, like, with all the good things that you experience, so that, you know, going through life, you can receive that back. Because, I mean, these energies right now are super receptive to the thoughts that are being created. So if we can collectively do that, collective mental energy is super powerful. We have more power than we realize. So that's just something to really take advantage of and believe. It might sound woo-woo, but I mean, it's all trial and error. Why not see what happens? You know, like, people have been talking about this for eons, and so it happens. It's true. Like, why not? And if anybody, like, poo-poos on it, then, you know, that's their choice, their free will. And if it's making you feel a certain way, it doesn't resonate, or you feel that there is a misalignment with that particular opinion, then you have every right to distance yourself from that. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But we are going to be, you know, experiencing a North Node lunar eclipse. So that's going to be when the Moon is with the North Node in Pisces. The Moon will be at 15 degrees, the North Node is at 18 degrees, and the Sun will be in Virgo with the South Node. And Mercury will also be next to the Sun, so it'll be at 10 degrees Virgo, and Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So this is another signature of really letting go of the self-criticism and the negative self-talk and those old ways of doing things, those old orders that are not going to come with us in the future, because these paradigms, these standard operating systems, procedures, paradigms, routines are in flux. They're in this liminal space of all of these paradigms changing, shifting. So trusting the unknown and just trusting our inner authority is the call. Saturn will be in Pisces. Neptune will be re-entering Pisces on, let's see, October 22nd of 2025, and it will return to Aries January 27th, and will stay in Aries for the next, I think, around May 2038. So that's something to get used to. But it'll be around May 2026 when Saturn starts to separate from Neptune. So this feeling of our structures dissolving, like, not really, especially with these planets currently retrograde, the feeling of not having solid footing in the directions that we want to go in can definitely be a thing. And that's not something to beat yourself up over. I mean, of course, it's going to affect all of us differently, because we can be, like, just used to certain outcomes based on past steps that we've taken, but we kind of have to realize that, yeah, these old ways of doing things are not necessarily going to produce the same outcomes. And I mean, if they do, it could feel like a misalignment, like it's not really coming from the soul. It's more of a going through the motions. So we just have to be really aware of what our soul is asking of us versus what our ego is asking of us. Like maybe we are at a job that puts money in our bank account, but those 5 days a week, 40 hours a week or whatever, 60 hours a week, like are those hours well spent? Is it filling your cup or is it draining you? So because what you do on a day-to-day basis is supposed to fill your cup and not drain your soul. Like you want to keep your soul intact as much as possible. So I think we're starting to realize as a collective that the system that we've been subject to for generations, I mean these are systems that our parents and grandparents' parents have been kind of like building. They've been building these empires that have allowed some level of success, and now the definition of success is changing. Success doesn't equate to large numbers in your bank account anymore. It's how much rest you have, like how easeful your mornings can be, like being able to slowly wake up and enjoy the sounds of nature instead of rushing to work, like with your coffee spilling all over the place and being stuck in traffic. Like that is a shock to the nervous system that so many of us have gotten used to thinking and believing that that's normal. So now we are coming to the point where we're realizing that is not normal, and we have been sucked into these paradigms, and they serve their purpose for a little while, for the time that it needed to be in existence. But things are shifting. So many planets are shifting into brand new elements, brand new signs. So these are the signs and the changing of the guards, changing of the elements, changing of the times, the paradigms. Everything is changing, and that's exciting, and that's something that we want to embrace because it'll be a liberation of our soul, and it can turn out even better than we can even imagine or anticipate, as long as we keep that cup filled with curiosity and joy and gratitude. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that was helpful. And definitely, if you would like to unfold your chart and see what these times are asking of you, just hit me up. I would love to explore your chart with you. And yeah, there's so much available right now, and it's beautiful. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that made sense, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's some interesting times to navigate, so I appreciate your grace and patience, and hope to see you on the next one. All the best.